Hey everybody, it's Cat Caracelo. I'm here with A Mythopoetic Life, and I love having these creative conversations with you. I often start a conversation with a topic, but today I'm going to start the conversation with the poem. Oh, Mother of the Sea, lend me a wave that is strong and true to carry me from this age which unbinds me. I do not need a ship, Mother, but make it a buoyant swell to bear me up and float me on the seas dreaming, then beach me on some lighter shore. When I land there, Mother, give me warp and weft again and an urchin quill to remind me how the prettiest barb can lodge under your skin and leave you undone. Only lend me a loom, and I will take up the threads of this unraveled life. I will weave a braid from 3 strands of seaweed. I will wind it 3 times around my finger. I will dig my salt-encrusted hands into the soil and wed myself to the thirsty brown roots of new beginning. This is a poem called Peregrina. It is about the traveler, the wanderer, the pearl. There's a wonderful story about the Peregrina, Elizabeth Taylor's famous pearl that traveled through millennia to be found. And the pearl, or the Peregrina, of course, sort of gets lost. Um, and requires the grit to build the luster. And I think that's a wonderful kind of analogy. And here we are working with the sea, this whole metaphor of the sea. Oh, Mother of the Sea, lend me a wave that is strong and true to carry me from this age. And then when back on land, I will dig my salt encrusted hands into the soil once I land again on the earth and wed myself to the thirsty brown roots of new beginning. I love that there's a journey kind of evoked within this poem. This wonderful poem, as you see below, is by Sharon Blackie. I think one of the things that I've been feeling lately is, what do I do with what I'm experiencing, and who am I within the experience? And sometimes I find that analogous to, I may be in a storm, and how do I keep myself stable? And I've been thinking of late, what does it mean to be a lighthouse? What does it mean to see a lighthouse? What does it mean to travel up through the rubble, up the great long road to get to the lighthouse? And I'm curious about how that and what that means to you, how that operates, how that energy operates for you. What does it mean to be a lighthouse? And what kind of lighthouse do you want to be? Where do I start? What do I choose? How do I rearrange this journey to be a lighthouse? I look at this image that I posted below, and I immediately think of getting somewhere fast. I want to get out of Dodge. I want to get up the hill. I want to get into a new place within this journey. There's that tension of being and becoming, being pushed and pulled, of being challenged in ways that maybe you don't know how to command or resolve. One time, many moons ago, I started to work with art to explore ideas as I am wont to do. And I was curious about the tension between the tower and rising light. And I did some art, and I did quite a bit of art to explore the nature of the tower of the tarot, the tower of crumbling down, the tower of being undone. And I started to work on the tower and build the tower from images and start to create the space where the tower might be different than I could see or I could feel, just to honor that state of being um, unsure, unsure of my stability, unsure of what I could stand on, what I could lean on, what I could grow, which is often, where I want to be, is growth. And this tower became a lighthouse. It was the most extraordinary process. It was a tower surrounded by a dragon, but then as the tower grew, as I started to know this particular tower, this particular energy, it was the lighthouse. The tower was the lighthouse, and the lighthouse was the tower. And I'll really never forget it because this process was so emboldened and so strong. It was really undeniable. And I thought of it as I was bringing this particular energy back to the creative conversation today. What does it mean to be a lighthouse is something I'm considering right now. How do I choose to be the light, to bring the light, to see the light in my own life? Why do I choose it? How do I choose it? What does it mean to be the lighthouse? If I get to choose that, what does it mean? Is it opposite? Is the lighthouse the opposite of the tower? Or is it part of the tower? I discovered in my own creative process, and this is really what I invite all of you, that the lighthouse was part of the tower, that the tower and the lighthouse were one, that they were commingled. They needed one another. Within myself, does my lighthouse need an aspect of the tower? Does the tower need an aspect of the light? For me, for you, the question of what does it mean to be a lighthouse is a marvelous one. And look at the image that inspired this call below and see what you can read as you wind up that road and follow the lights and feel yourself tracking towards a destination in a journey. How does that inspire some art? It's really the only thing you might want to play with today. But the other question is, what kind of a lighthouse do you want to be? That's a deeper question. It's a more philosophical question. And as you create, you can muse on a question. What does it mean to be a lighthouse? And what kind of lighthouse do I want to be? How do I want to bring my vision, my values, what matters most to the lighthouse so that everything that matters to me can be received by others beyond me. And I say this with sort of a sense of there are probably some of you out there who feel like I'm a hermit. I'm very insular. I don't quite know how to give the gifts of my thoughts, my energy, my love. I don't know how to impart it. Try bringing it to your art as a living prayer that will ripple out beyond you like the sea, like the dream. This is a really powerful way to participate, to actually give your gifts out in the world, is to create with them and to ask these powerful questions and then create and learn as you manipulate materials. You're opening so much wisdom can rise, and so many things can be activated through art making that would barely be touched if you didn't have this kind of material medium space to play. And I think that that's an important thing that I've discovered over the years. And one of the reasons I love a mythopoetic life and transformative art so much. These are my two cornerstones of everything. They hold up the arch that I walk through every day. So don't avoid the tension of being and becoming. Don't avoid the tension of opposites that might be held in the lighthouse and the tower. Consider how they play off one another. We really can't exist as human beings without the light and the dark. And our individual work is promoted by seeing the depth and the breadth and the complexity of being human inside ourselves. And this includes our feelings and healing, and all of the emotional content of our day-to-day experiences can get tumultuous, like the sea. So being a lighthouse is directly connected to traveling across the sea of dreams and living with that peregrina energy, that traveling energy. I think that there's something here that is a bit of a composite. We're having multiple conversations about several evocative image ideas. Take them to the creative. See what comes. It may not come all at one time, but as you build something for yourself, something for the journey, something to reflect the energy that you feel you need, insight rises, light rises. The lighthouse is turning, throwing out its light so that you can see your way in the journey, on the path. So I hope that this has been exciting. Be curious. Read the poem below. Look at the images that I posted. Come play with me in a couple of weeks. I have a wonderful 12-day guided journey coming with 12 nights of solstice, and it's free for you. We have one creative Zoom as we get started to talk about art as process and transformative art making and the value of this kind of exchange. But we're really going to take it to the creative, a creative marker, a little bit of creative, 20 minutes of creative every day. So see how that excites you. But this week, explore being a lighthouse, explore the edge of the tower if that's what you know you need, and see what comes through creating your own exchange within the conversation.